fiscal management. It is clear that we need to tighten the loopholes. One such loophole is the 800 billion that is not currently being collected by SARS. Everything must be done to ensure SARS is capacitated to collect these billions owed to the fiscals. Then, it's more urgent than before that we deal with illegal immigration. It is a fact that millions of illegal migrants currently within our borders are putting a heavy strain on our fiscals and takes away from the resources meant for poor and vulnerable South Africans. A responsible budget must strike a balance between economic growth and social development. The IFP is at its core a pro-poor party. Therefore, we needed to see an increased safety net for the poor. We welcome the expansion of the zero-rated VAT food items alongside the increase of the social grants, as it will provide much-needed relief to the poorest households. And we do believe that there is more scope to increase zero-rated VAT food items. The introduction of the Urban Development Financing Grant, designed to strengthen infrastructure investment in municipal entities responsible for water, sanitation, electricity, energy, and solid waste management services, is also to be welcome, as it guarantees jobs and development. Robust financial management are key to ensuring that municipalities can sustain these services while reducing disparities between urban and rural areas. Government spending will continue to focus on targeted social relief programs, including increasing social grants to offset the cost burden on the most affected household. It remains our commitment to ensure that the VAT increase is a short-term intervention for long-term fiscal relief, and therefore we must implement stricter oversight mechanism within the GNU to prevent wastage and corruption, ensuring that VAT revenue is used efficiently and for the intended purposes. National Treasury must focus on exploring complementary revenue generation strategies, such as improving tax collection efficiency and reducing government expenditure on non-essential items. And more broadly, the GNU must robustly focus itself on job creation, economic growth, and investment. The IFP will hold the government accountable to ensure that VAT increases do not disproportionately burden the poor and working class South Africans, and we will continue to advocate for pro-poor economic policies. Our people are still struggling with the high cost of food, the high cost of fuel, and basic services. So if you were to agree to any form of VAT hike without addressing the challenges our people are facing out there, that would be unjust. These challenges, we believe, were addressed by the Minister of Finance, thus the IFP supported the budget because We were part of the formulation of the budget. Our people are remarkably patriotic and have been enjoying patience. It is morally reprehensible to feed them empty promises, and it is eminently dangerous to lie, as some have done, as to why they don't support the budget, when in fact they do have ulterior motives which has nothing to do with the lives or the interest of the poor. The IFP remains committed to rebuilding our country. Therefore, we remain committed to the GNU. However, the GNU cannot turn around the economy overnight. We know that disparate times call for disparate measures, and difficult times call for decisive leadership. Economic growth must be achieved, and the economy must be turned around for the poor. We have a set of reasons why we support the framework as it was done last week. Firstly, the billions of rands that were injected on infrastructure are going to create job opportunities on roads and railway, on water and sanitation, on energy and electricity. The billions of rands injected in those categories will ensure that the background is created to grow our economy. The budget is not about 0.5% VAT increase only. It is also about the increase of the social grants. As you rightly know, the old age grant was increased. The foster care grant was increased. The child support care grant was increased. We supported the budget because it also ensured that the fuel levy is not increased, because we knew if the fuel levy is increased, it will trigger the increase on transport and food prices. So now it gives a relief to the poorest of the poor when the fuel levy is not increased. We supported the budget because it is going to inject billions of rands to the Department of Health. Nurses, health professionals will be employed. Medical doctors will be employed. When we campaigned as the IFP, we said we want to see unemployed doctors being employed. This budget addressed the campaign that we did last year. The allocation in the Department of Health will create job opportunities of more than 800 doctors and more than 9,000 health professionals that will be employed. This budget, we supported it because in the Department of Education, the billions injected there. When we campaigned as the IFP, we said we want the unemployed teachers to be in the class. This budget is going to employ 11,000 teachers. These teachers, doctors and nurses, will not be teaching in private schools or working in private hospitals and clinics. They will be working in public schools where the children of the poorest will be going. The doctors and nurses will be working in public hospitals and clinics where the poorest of the poor are going. So now, to say the budget is not poor friendly, it's a lie and misleading the community. This budget addresses the needs of the people of South Africa, and at the majority, the poorest of the poor. That is why the IFP, instead of choosing cheap popularity, decided to be honest with our people. And the other reason, when we supported this budget, the IFP rejected the 2% VAT increase. And for record purposes, it is not true that there is one political party that rejected 2% VAT increase. I'm saying it on record. And on record, the political parties who objected to 2% increase at the cabinet level, I know I do not have to divulge what was discussed at a cabinet level, but for the sake of dispelling lies, it is not true that a political party that claims it is the one that objected to 2% VAT increase is the one that was the first in the cabinet. It is not true, because I do have the record in the cabinet level. The IFP was upfront, and all political parties, we were upfront to reject 2% VAT increase. And we participated in the process to say, if we want to grow our economy, and if we want to have a budget that is going to service our people, the Treasury must work, amongst other things, looking at the 0.5 VAT increase as an interim measure. And we agreed on two things with the President, that immediately, once the budget is passed, the President must call an emergency. We use the word emergency, urgent, extended cabinet meeting. In that meeting, there are two things we said we will do. Firstly, how are we going to grow the economy so that VAT goes away? Secondly, we said we will visit all the allocation to departments to identify where we can cut so that we can save the money that is running short as we are relying on the VAT. And if we successfully able to identify where we can reduce, the VAT will go away. We want to assure the people of South Africa, the IFP remains with its identity. Our main support are the poorest of the poor, but we cannot mislead them, because the VAT is not being introduced for the first time under difficult circumstances. You look at the options that can be of value in order to have a budget that will be able to serve the people of South Africa. So we want to assure our people that the budget that has been released and approved, it is going to address their need. I must conclude by this one. In the current past budget, an amount of 1.7 billion has been set aside to intervene on disaster-related matters. As last week, as Minister of COGTA, I released 1.4 billion to various municipalities and departments throughout South Africa in order to intervene to all our people who were affected by disaster. We supported this budget. Above 0.5 VAT increase, there is 1.7 billion for disaster-related instances, and also 4 billion that is going to be kept in order to address the disaster instances of the previous year. Lastly, more allocation is going to be given to municipalities. These billions given to municipalities will relieve the poorest of the poor to get free water and free electricity, which is subsidized by the government through the municipal processes. So now, the myth that the budget is about 0.5 VAT increase really must not have legs to stand. The budget has more benefit to our people other than concentrating on one item. Billions of rands will be invested on ECD, early childhood development of our children. The amount per child in this budget is increasing from 17 rand to 24 rand per a child up to 4 years of age, which has not been the case. And the children who will benefit on this money are the children of the poorest of the poor. That is why we say the budget is poor friendly, as contrary to all what is being said as a misinformation. I want to conclude by giving a summary in isiZulu, Mr. Hlengwa, before we go into questions. Iqembu le-IFP libizele sisithangami ukuze ledlulise ulwazi oluyilo kubantu baseNingizimu neAfrika, ukuze konke ukukhuluma okungesilo iqiniso kungabi nayo imlelo. Nqaba ku 1% ukuthi okungenani u0.5% futhi uzoba isikhashana, akuzukuba yinto unomphela. Savumelana futhi ukuthi uma sekuphasela ibudget umengameli wezwe uzobiza umhlangano ophuthumayo esiulindele kulenyanga kaApril. iCabinet yonke ngobubanzi bayo sizokhuluma ngezinto ezimbili, ukuthi umnotho siwukhulisa kanjani, bese kuthi okwesibili sibuke onke ama departments imali anikezwe yona ukuthi ikuphi lapha okungasikwa khona, kuncozulwe khona ukuze iVAT isuke masinyana, ukuze abantu bakithi bangabi nomthwalo ozodalwa ukungezwa ukukhuphuka kwe-VAT. Kodwa ke nazi izathu ezibaluleke kakhulu. Ukwenyuka kwale VAT kuzothola ukunxephezeleka ngoba kule budget imali eningi ifakwe kwinqala sizinda, kuzokhandwa imigwaqo, kuzokhandwa ama-bridge, kuzokwakhiwa izakhiwo eziningi, ukufakelwa kwamanzi emphakathini yakithi, ukufakelwa kagesi kubantu bakithi, ukunikezelwa kwe-sanitation, isiqoqa indle emphakathini yakithi. Ngesikhathi kwakhiwa lemigwaqo nama-bridge kuzodaleka amathuba omsebenzi. Abantu abazosebenza akusibona abasebenza abantu abampofu kunabampofu. Yizathu sokuqala le. Esesibili, le budget le ikhuphule ama-grant. Abantu abadala i-grant yabo ikhuphuke ngo-130 to 2,315. Lokho indlela ezokwenza ukuthi abantu abadala imali kade beyihola kusukela ngo-April lenyanga nje lenyanga kuphela lenyanga isibonelelo sabo sizobe sesikhuphukile ngemali e-130 nyanga zonke. Imali eyisibonelelo seyingane izokhuphuka. Imali yesibonelelo sabantu abaphila nokugula nokukhubazeka izokhuphuka. Imali yeingane ezingenabazali i-foster care izokhuphuka. Ngakho ke abampofu kunabampofu kulesabelo mali bazozuza lukhulu kunokuba bengazuzi lutho. Okwesithathu, inani lokudla elingenayo i-VAT landisiwe. Ukudla okuningi lo 0.5 VAT increase awuzokungena kukho ngenxa ukuthi kwandiswe inani lokudla ozothi uma ukuthenga awuzukhokha ngisho neyodwa indibilishi noma isente eli-VAT. Ngakho ke abantu lokhu kudla lokhu okuzobe kungenayo i-VAT isikhathi esiningi abantu bakithi abampofu kunabampofu okuyibona abadla lokudla oncamnci adliwa ngabantu abanemali uzobe une-VAT ephelele. Ngakho akusili iqiniso ukuthi u-0.5% uzobe uthwalisa abantu abampofu umthwalo kakhulu. Isizathu esilandelayo, umnyango wezemfundo unikezwe izigidigidi zamarandi kuzoqashwa othisha abawu-11,000 njenge-IFP. Ngenkathi sikhampeyina thina sathi sifuna ama-graduates ahlele emakhaya othisha baqashwe. Ngakho le budget le isho lokhu esakuthembisa abantu bakithi. Labo thisha abawu-11,000 abazokufundisa izikole zabadla idombolo likampondwe, bazofundisa izikole ezisemakhaya public schools. Kulezo izikole zingane zabantu abansundu zingane zabantu abampofu kunabampofu ezifunda lapho. Ngakho ke ibudget mawuthi ayikho ayizwelani nabantu abampofu ukhuluma ngesili iqiniso ukhohlisa abantu, ngoba ma ingane yomuntu ompofu kunompofu kakhulu ingenayo uthisha phambi kwayo, olimalayo umzali waleyo ngane nengane uqobo. Kodwa uma ingane yompofu kunompofu inothisha phambi kwayo ozuzayo wompofu nengane yakhe, imali ezigidigidi izofakwa emnyangweni wezempilo. Kuzoqashwa onesi, kuqashwa ama-psychologist, kuqashwa bonke abasebenzi ey'bhedlela nasemakliniki, bese kuqashwa odokotela abawu-800. Ngesikhathi sikhampeyine njenge-IFP sathi sifuna odokotela abahlele emakhaya, ama-pharmacist, osokhemisi abahlele emakhaya baqashwe. Labo dokotela abazukuya kuma-private school, kuma-private clinics and hospitals, bazosebenza ey'bhedlela zomphakathi uma abantu bakithi beye ezibhedlela befike balinde usuku baze basizwe ngakusasa ngoba bekho odokotela. Kodwa le budget uma izoqasha odokotela mayifika umuntu esibhedlela namhlanje asizwe namhlanje, ozuzayo ngale budget umuntu ompofu kunompofu ngoba akakwazi ukuya kwi-private hospital, uzoya kwi-public hospital. Kufakwa imali eningi kwizinkulisa, ingane ezifunda eyinkulisa ezisemakhaya nezabaswele kakhulu kunabaswele. Ingane zabadli izambane likaMpondo zifunda kuma special early childhood centers not emakhaya. Ngakho ke le mali akusile iqiniso uma kuthiwa i-budget ayizwelani nabantu abampofu. Iqiniso ukuthi le budget lena ikhuluma ngqo nabantu abampofu ngoba ingane eziya eyinkulisa ikahulumeni zingane zabantu abampofu kunabampofu, akusizona ezabantu abanokwenele ngokwezomnotho. Le budget iphinde futhi ifake imali eningi kwaSARS. uSARS uzokwazi ukuqoqa intela ewu-800 million ukuze izokwazi ukugudlula le VAT, kukwazi ukuhlangabezeka kwezidingo zabantu baseningizimu neAfrika. Le budget siyisupporte ngoba izokwazi ukulekelela ukuthi omasipala bazokhushulelwa imali abazoyithola ebizwa ngokuthi yi-equitable share. Kule equitable share bazokwazi ukwenza abantu bakithi bathola amanzi. Abantu bakithi bayazi abampofu kunabampofu bathola amanzi abangawakhokheli, kodwa awenele kuyo yonke imiphakathi. Izigidigidi ezikule budget izosabalalisa amanzi komasipala abaningi afinyelele kubantu bakithi abasemadolobheni nabadla izambane likaMpondo. Ayibasizi le budget ngoba bayakhokhela amanzi bona emadolobheni. Le budget izokwenza ukuthi abantu bakithi abahlele emakhaya bathole usizo olungcono uma kuza kugesi, ngoba ingqala sizinda kagesi izokwandiswa ukuze ifinyelele kubantu bakithi la behlala khona, okungabantu bakithi abasahlala ebumnyameni futhi nabasalinyazwa yi-load shedding. Abadla izombolo likaMpondo mawune load shedding, abanye sebesebenzisa amasola, abanye badumisa injini, kufane nje ukuthi ugesi awuhambile kuwo. Kodwa abantu bakithi abansundu nabantu bakithi abampofu kunabampofu, le budget ikhuluma nabo ngqo. Yingakho sitheke asithathelele ithuba sibaqinisekise i-IFP ayikushintsha ukukhuluma futhi ayithembisi into eyize, amanga asiwakhulumi. Iqiniso nje simanalo kwenye inkathi noma ngabe lithi ukuhlaba kancane, iqiniso kungcono ukuthi ulikhulume linjengoba linjalo, kodwa kusunike isiqiniseko kubantu bakithi ukuthi njengoba sikuhulumeni iso lethu lizobe livulekile, sibhekile ukuthi le VAT iyasuka masinyane, kodwa ngesikhathi silwa lokho bazobe bethola usizo oluningi oluvela kuhulumeni njengoba sengilubalulile olumbalwa oluzoba usizo oluvela kule budget esiyiphasise ngeviki elidlule. Ngiyabonga kakhulu Mnumzane uHlengwa na kubacosheli bezindaba.
Siyathokoza kakhulu Ngula. Thank you very much, Mr. President. We will now take questions. Colleagues, please introduce yourself and then pose your question. Just proceed. Yeah, sure.
From Fiscal Africa. President, my question goes with regards to what's happening in the province. So we know that the DA's federal...
The mic.
Oh.
The mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Lama camera.
Oh. So we know that the DA's federal chairperson Helen Zille has stated on the record before that should they withdraw from the GNU, which we know that some NEC members within the ANC are calling for, that effectively affects what happens within the GPU here. Can you give us a sense of, how what's happening nationally will affect the way things are done within the government of provincial unity here in KwaZulu-Natal?
Substantially, I can take others in a group. Can I just address this one because it might cover many? Coalition government works differently. I just want to take you as people of media because you know. In Gauteng, the DA was taken out of Tshwane. It did not pull out at a national level. It was taken out Eguruleng. It did not pull out at the national level. It was taken out at COJ. It did not pull out at a national level. The discussion or difference of views at a national level is around VAT. It has nothing to do with KwaZulu-Natal. Again, go to Gauteng province. The DA is not part of the Gauteng government, but it did not pull out at a national level because they were not included at a provincial level. So now, I really don't see a reason how one can link a discussion at a national level and wants to filter it down to a provincial government. I was part of a team that went to Germany with DA and many other political parties. In a coalition government setup, you will find that at a local government, the combination is different from a provincial one and different from a national one. In the interest of stability of South Africa, I even believe that whatever might have been a difference of opinion around 0.5 VAT increase can still be resolved in the GNU, as we all agreed. When I say all, I mean 10 political parties, that the president must call an urgent meeting to discuss how to grow the economy and also how to ensure that we cut unnecessary expenditure so that we remove the 0.5 VAT increase. So to the IFP, we met since yesterday, we considered the question you are saying, and we are of the view that there will be no need, but we can't decide for any political party, as we do not want anyone not to decide for us. There will be no need to conflict the national with provincial or local government, because by doing so, you are creating instability, and if you love your people, you can't subject them into instability when there is stability. Lastly, the NEC responsible for finance in KwaZulu-Natal is a DA member of provincial legislature. He has tabled his budget, and I'm sure he's looking forward to the approval of the budget. Now, to me, or to the IFP, any withdrawal or a different direction that can be taken will not be showing love of the people, but each and every political party has a right to decide the way they do. As the IFP, we believe we're still going to have a stable government in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, and whatever circumstances prevail at a national level, we are there at a national level to resolve this crisis.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm referring to the DA NEC, also the Deputy Minister of Finance is also from the DA. Let's continue to the front. Clive and Mr. Tumula.
Yeah, thanks, my name is Clive. Thanks, my name is Clive Novo from the Witness newspaper. The IFP president, in his statement, frustrate people who are using that as a reason to not to support the budget as some kind of unethical people who are telling lies, as you say, seeking cheap popularity. And what is acknowledged is that the DA has a history with the IFP. If we look back, even prior to the elections, we were together in the Moonshot Pact. And even when it came to the May general election, there was a pre-election agreement here in KZN between the IFP and the DA. And a perception has been created out there that the DA is using the poor as political football. And that is a party that somehow cannot be trusted. As the IFP president said, that they agreed on this bet.
Let's get to the question.
Yes, they agreed on this bet that they are now opposing. And they also went further to launch a scathing attack on the IFP to say, and projected the IFP as sellouts. Are you maybe in a way going to review the way you relate to the DA based on that? Thank you.
Let's go to Mr. Songola and then we'll
Sanibonga for President Seka ngokubeka amaphuzu from independent region. Ngizamtshela la President manje ngizamkhumbuza kancane angikubona khona unyaka lapho ivethi yakho yabuyehliswa mayikhanda becane ngumbuzo. Ngizama ukusho ukuthi uma be IFP le budget i-support on the basis ukuthi one day ivethi iyonyuka iyokwehla. What if ingasave? What are you do? Will I backtrack and then put out and say, no, listen, because you said,
No, it's fine. I've got the point.
oh, we answered it. Oh, thank you so much. But maybe just for not related.
No, let's be related to this.
Oh.
That's why we're here.
Oh.
Let's be related. Let's be related. Last people Spaman and then we'll take responses.
From ENCA, as the IFP, have you received any correspondence from business people lobbying you to work with the ANC and the DA to make sure that this GNU survives? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. President, can you take responses? And then we'll come back, colleagues.
Let me start with the Spamanda's question first. The IFP is in a good working relationship space with all political parties in the GNU, including both the ANC and the DA. We are still going to continue with the engagement between the two political parties, that we have a responsibility to stabilize the country. Because you must agree, and I'm sure all of you know, the IFP in the GNU is the third largest political party. We are a party that plays a crucial role with our experience of governing, with our experience of knowing how to create a government that delivers services. We get engagement from business people who commended the IFP for establishing a stable government in KwaZulu-Natal. We received a number of recommendations from the business sector, and even now, the way we are driving the stability in KwaZulu-Natal and the role we play at a national government to stabilize the government of national unity. On the question of has it ever happened that the VAT increase and go down, if it never happened, it doesn't mean it will not happen going forward. I think it's as simple as that. The difference now, there is a commitment of 10 political parties, not one political party. 10 different political parties with divergent views. And we will be coming with strategies as to how to grow the economy. If we will be successful in growing the economy by pressing right buttons at the right time, there is nothing that will prevent this 0.5 VAT increase to be removed. On the question of the perception and the statements made by other political parties, there is one thing that we want to make firm. When we joined the GNU, we were very clear that we are not joining any political party, but we are joining the government of national unity. And we don't take mandate from any political party except the IFP. We will support any political party in the GNU as long as what they say is what we believe is right for the people of South Africa. And we will differ with any political party. Could it be the ANC? Could it be the DA? Now, if a person differs with you and you decide to call him or her a sellout, it's just your choice. There is no amount of insult that will make us afraid to state our view. When we don't agree, we will be forthright that no, we don't support this. And when we agree, we will also be forthright that this is good for the people of South Africa. But anyway, in a working relationship, conflicts occur. Even in a marriage, sometimes you use words which at a later stage you withdraw because you were at a particular state of being angry or being annoyed or being upset, and then eventually use a particular word. In the interest of the people of South Africa, we are not going to concentrate on minor things, but what we will do, we will engage our partners that the engagement between us and you should be ethical. You have heard us. We have never labeled any political party irrespective of what they are saying, because we think that is minor. We are focusing on the interest of the people of South Africa, just to tell the truth as it is, than want to get cheap popularity.
Thank you very much. Can we get colleagues at the back? Okay, let's get the other colleague, please. We'll come back. Just proceed.
Yeah, we need to comment the time is life. Ngicela ukuthi mhlawumbe ngokuphinde IFP yini ebona ukuthi ibudget izosebenza kahle kulesi sikhathi samanje, taking into cognizance ukuthi kule minyaka edlule ibudget ilathi masebenzi kahle ngenxa yezinto eliphezulu lenkohlakalo ezweni.
Any other hand would be great. Let's get the follow-up up front here. Bring the mic to the... Oh, there's a hand.
Good afternoon, Senator Tennis from Women in Energy and Climate Change. President, since you stated that in the budget, the poor of the poorest, they won't be affected, $8 ukudla lokho okungena VAT will remain kungena VAT. Yiphi ama-measures eniyenzayo to check on that, because as nje ngikhuluma kwezinye iy'tolo izinto senyukile. Number 2, banks send ama-messages on the 1st of May, there will be ama-changes. Siyazi ukuthi baningi abantu abashintshile basebenzisa ama-bank, more especially laba bathola i-grant, okuwukuthi whenever besebenzisa i-bank bazoba affected. So yiziphi ama-measures eniwasebenzisayo ukumonitor kuma-shops, because as much as nisho lokho, but kuma-shops kwenzeka izinto ezi-different.
Get the mic up front here for the follow-up.
So thank you so much, Chief.
Chief?
No, No, another issue. I don't think Muzo pending the commitment. Because certainly whatever budgets, certainly so we'll grow the economy, we'll create jobs. End of the day, they can't do nothing. So, now somebody EIP magic will look at that. No matter the stress of letting private books every year, it's the same thing. But basically, idiots. The government will die. I want my college. Say, support the budget. Umang is one so was a so the answer is straight. Okay. Who's going to buy the that? EIP chair. They very Minister of Finance will have offered him someone. I told him, I told you what would happen. But end of the day, somebody because who campaign. So they say something with God the economy, but we know that the economy has not been growing for many years. Now, same thing. So what's the year? As I say now, 10 years ago, what was something with God the economy, job creation, the long term social and and the approach from the IP side is that anyway, if the IP say no, their budget say 7 because it's over until 11,000 teachers also crash, but I'm not sure what will happen there.
Mhlambe mashasha engazibe mningi mbuzo angiqale ngomfowethu uphumula ma mfowethu uthi when campaigns are done false promises are made. I made a practical example. You can go and read the IFP manifesto. We said we will strive to make zero-rated VAT food items increase. This is achieved in this budget. We said we want doctors to be employed. This is going to be achieved in this budget. It's a commitment, money attached. We said we want more teachers in the classroom. 11,000 teachers will be employed. There is money attached. Now, do not judge us with the past years. We were not part of the government. We only became part of the government in July. And the budget that we found was not our budget. This is our budget, and the IFP will be giving constant feedback as to, in the budget that was approved and that we supported, how many jobs have been created, because we'll be able to zoom in all departments, because we have to be accountable of the budget that we supported. I think on the question therefore that you are asking what the IFP will do, the IFP will ensure that the allocated budgets are executed accordingly across all departments, because it is a responsibility of a cabinet, and the cabinet operates collectively, not as one person. In that collective, we will remain a strong voice, and we will be urging the president and all departments that give a quarterly accountability, and we will be doing it on our own, that this is the budget that was allocated to the ministry headed by an IFP person, and this is how we have spent the budget. And I am confident, because all ministers are operating as nothing happened wrong on Wednesday. All ministers are at work, and all ministers are unfolding their programs as I speak now, because each and every minister carries a responsibility to account to the public. What are you going to do when promises are not kept? One, as I said, let us not judge the GNU on the basis of the past. Consequence management is going to be the order of the day. When I released 1.4 billion on Monday last week, we will follow that money. And when we find deviation, we will take actions. And if there is a way of calling back that money, we will recall the money or take the allocation of that municipality in order to ensure that the money that was wrongly used comes back to the government. If there is no way, then there are many municipalities which are being followed by SIU as I'm speaking. And we will definitely ensure, that is why we made it public. We called the name of the municipality, we called the amount of money given, and we said it publicly that there shall be consequence management, there shall be accountability on monthly basis, on quarterly basis, there shall be unannounced visits to projects to ensure that the report that is on paper is in line with what is found on the ground. It is not going to be business as usual, because we know when we were outside government, we were saying the government is making empty promises, and we are not going to do the same. What we are criticizing, because we know, you know what we were saying, you will be asking us. So now this is going to be a matter that will be attending as the government and as ministers in the respective ministries where we are involved. And lastly, my sister on monitoring what is happening in shops. Kuliqiniso isinkwa emakhaya ukuthothi kasifani iprice yazo. Kuncika nje kubantu bomphakathi uma bazi ukuthi le mpahla ifanele ukuba ne-VAT. Kodwa lapha emakhaya zonke izinto zifakwa i-VAT. Kufuneka ukuthi abantu abathenga impahla ngenani okungesilo kube yibona abakhulu bayo. Uhulumeni akakwazi ukuba yiphoyisa elifinyelela kuzo zonke indawo emakhaya. Umphakathi yiwo okumele usukume uma ubona ukuthi lana sibanjwe inkunzi, sidayiselwa izinto zifakwa i-VAT zingafanele uba ne-VAT. Baningi abantu umphakathi ongakhuluma nabo, khona amakhansela aseduze kunawo. Uma kubonakala ukuthi mhlawumbe awakuthola ukuncedakala kumakhansela, ungaya ngisho nakwi-police station eseduze ukuthi ngizobika. Banesibopho yonke iminyango kahulumeni ukuthi izikhalo ezivezwa umphakathi bakwazi ukuyisukumela. Angikholwa ukuthi uma ikhansela lingezuka ukulalela, nosomlomo ngeke akulalele, nosekela meya ngeke akulalele, nomeya ngeke kulalele. Zisebenzi lezi ezethembekile. Singaba khona esisodwa nezimbili ezidonsa inyawo, kodwa umphakathi uma ubona ukuthi ubanjwa inkunzi ngentengo yokudla ezitolo, awukhulume. Udaba ke lwasemabhangi ngibona ukuthi ngaba mfishane ukuphawula ngalo, ngoba lo udaba oluseceleni. Ngeze ngafisa ukungena kakhulu kulo, imininingwane ngingenayo ukuthi ukukhula kwemali okhuluma ngayo dadewethu isima kanjani. Ngahle ngikhulume into engekho clear ngayo, kodwa si willing ukuthi makuphela lana ungasi-engage, sikwazi ukulandela eduze ukuthi yini lena ekhalisayo. Asifisi ukuthi lesithatha udaba lwethala silibhanqe nalolu daba, ngoba sizolubuyela udaba lwethala njengoba lihlangene ikomiti le-IFP. Kukhona inyathelo ezinqala esizokuyithatha manje esifuna ukuthi le nkinga ixazululeke. Ayikho into esikhathaza njengokuthi abantu bakithi imali yabo ivalelekile kuze kube manje akade benza ibhizinisi ngayo le mali awile lawo mabhizinisi lawo. Siseyingxoxweni esezingeni eliphezulu nomengameli wezwe nongqongqoshe umnumzana uGodongwane ukuze sithole indlela enqamlelayo ukuthi abantu bakithi kusena lezi inkinga ezikhona kodwa bakwazi ukufinyelela kwimali yabo ukuze impilo iqhubeke iye phambili. Angifisile lo daba ukuthi silifake ngesinxele ngoba siyolubizela isithangami uma sesinento ephathekayo ukuze umphakathi wazi kangcono ukuthi nakho kwenzakalayo, kodwa ngifuna ukuqinisekisa ukuthi ekseni udaba esilikhulumile sathaska abaqondene nokuthi baxhumanise leminyango efaneleyo ukuze sithole nje into ezokwenza abantu bafinyelele kwimali yabo ngesikhathi kuseneyinkinga eyikhona ukuze impilo iqhubeke iye phambili nakubona.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I wonder if there's any other hand going once, going twice. We also want to thank the Orlando Pirates coach for a job well done as he leaves the country soon. Great coach. Don't worry. This gentleman I won't point to here, they had a terrible weekend with Alethro. But the colleagues, I want to take this opportunity to thank you very much for attending and indicate that the leadership will be still available to do a month where it is necessary, and you are invited for amanzi at the back before you leave to Sugu. Have a blessed week. Thank you very much. Let me see. Thank you.
No, ngafuneka siqale ngizokathi umbuzo. But I do have my coach. Here is my coach when it comes to Africa.
I